Welcome to Chef Richard's Kitchen. I'm Chef Richard Miller. Well, summer's upon us, and most of the time when we think of summer, we think of smokers, barbecues, grills, things like that. And of course, I'm one of those that's right there with it. So today what I thought I'd do is, we think of barbecue a lot. So what I thought I'd do today is we're going to make a barbecue sauce. Now, there are lots of barbecue sauces out there, a lot of commercial ones you can get right off the shelf. Most of them are pretty good. But here's one that I've tried before and I really like. It's more mild than some of the ones that are really hot and, are more like something that'll actually kick you. This isn't. This is more subtle. It's a watermelon barbecue sauce. And I've used this, I started out using it on pork ribs. And then found out that it works magnificent on chicken. In fact, I'm going to do an episode on barbecued chicken. I'm going to use, or grilled chicken, I'm going to use this on it. But I thought instead of doing this and making it a couple of times, I just make this, put it in as a short, and then I can refer back to it. So anyway, let's go ahead and let's get going. The first thing we want to do is we need a watermelon. And I've used one of these little individual watermelons. And I could have used the big green ones and whatever. They actually are probably more juicy, have more water in them than this. But this has nice flavor in it, and that means I don't throw half of it away. So what I want to do is, the objective of this is we need to come up with about 1.5 cups of pulp, right? 1.5 cups of watermelon pulp. And so what I want to do is I took and I cut the watermelon, and you'll notice a lot of it is this green, the inside, the inner rind of it. I don't want the hard cover, and I don't want all of just the watermelon inside. I need the flavor of some of the rind. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out, I cut this off, I'm going to put them in the blender, and I'm going to start out with them. Now, I doubt I'll get 1.5 cups of pulp, so what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and supplement it. Okay. All right, let's take and put, we need a little liquid. Okay, now we got it going. I'm going to put in a little bit more because I don't quite think there's going to be 1.5 cups of pulp yet. This should be enough. All right, let's get out the strainer. there's about a cup and a half in here. So now let's go ahead. And now we have to add the rest of our ingredients. We need to bring it to a boil, and we need to reduce it. So let me go ahead and grab the saucepan. All right, to this, we're going to add a half a cup of ketchup. And if you want, go back to one of my earlier episodes where I actually show you how to make your own ketchup. I don't think I've made ketchup I don't think I've bought ketchup in years. You know, it comes out so good and for so much less, and it's so easy. Okay. We want a half a cup of white vinegar, a half cup of water, and here I have a cup and a half of dark corn syrup. Just, you know, the Caro dark corn syrup. And a cup and a half is just about a 15-ounce bottle. All right, now our last ingredients is a half teaspoon of black pepper, probably about a half teaspoon of red pepper flakes. Now, go easy on this. In fact, I'm not going to put all of it in there, just because that has a tendency it can get hot in a hurry. And a teaspoon of liquid smoke. Now, there's something I have found with liquid smoke. It used to be that the only one you could find was just Wright's Hickory. And that was good. That was great. I loved it. I used it in about everything. And now they have two others, they're not real new, but they have mesquite and they have applewood flavors of liquid smoke. And this one I'm doing today is I'm using the applewood. And since this is going to be used on chicken, I don't want it to have that real hitch in the head flavor with it. I want it a little more subtle, and hence the reason for the applewood. So let me go ahead and let me start the stove up and turn on the detail camera over there, and I'll be right back. Don't go away. All right, let's go ahead and let's put this on the stove. And let's just let this heat up for a minute. We're going to want to keep whisking it. We don't want to just leave it sit here with the heat on, medium high. So I want to whisk it, but let's give it a minute to kind of warm up first. All right, it's starting to boil here. Not very much. I'm going to let it boil, go to a more rolling boil than this. But now's a good time to let's see how it's starting to taste. And I'm always telling you, taste it. All right, what am I tasting there? I'm tasting a good watermelon flavor. It's got a vinegary tang to it, which I like. You can also, get a little of the zest from the ketchup in there. And I might go ahead and add just a couple of other things. I'm going to add a little salt. A little more pepper. And I might just put in just a little bit more of the liquid smoke. But I don't want to throw it all in right now. I want to kind of throw it in, one by one to make sure I don't overdo it. Just a little bit more. I had a teaspoon of it, or half. I'm just going to add no more than a half. There's a half teaspoon of the liquid smoke, and in this case, I am using the applewood. Much better, much better. The smoky flavor improves it. It also tends to take a little of the vinegar tang out, which I like, because I like a little vinegar tang in there, but not too much. It has good heat, good sweetness from the watermelon. I think it's going to turn out all right. I think it's going to turn out really good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let this simmer. And I'm probably going to let it simmer for 20-25 minutes, somewhere around in there. And what I want it to do is I just want to reduce it a little bit. Okay, it looks like our barbecue sauce over there. I added a couple ingredients to it. I added some salt, which it needed. I added just a little bit of extra pepper in there, and I added an extra half teaspoon of the applewood liquid smoke, and to me it came out very, very good. It's got a good rich flavor. It has a sweet flavor due to the watermelon. The extra smoke gave it a more mellow taste. It cut some of the tang off of the vinegar. Now I like a little tang in there, but I don't want too much, and this seemed to do that well. And I also took and I put in just a little bit more of the red pepper. Remember, I left a little bit out. Well, I put the rest of that in there, and it seemed to take the heat up just enough. So what I did now is I turned the burner down over there, and I'm going to let it sit there for about 20-25 minutes on a simmer. And I want it to reduce, because when I take the pastry brush and brush it on the chicken or the ribs or whatever I'm going to use it on, I want it to stick. So I'll be back in about 20 minutes, something like that, and we'll see how it is. We'll give it a final taste, and at that point, well, there's not much plating to this one, but we do have to store it in something, so we'll go ahead and store it. So anyway, I'll be back in about 20 minutes. Don't go far. I know you're coming back. Okay, it's been about 20 minutes, and the sauce has reduced by about half, so I think we're there. So let me go ahead, let me take it off the stove, And in this case, since I'm not using it right away, what I've done is I've just got a ball mason jar here, a quart jar, and I'm going to put it in there, and I'll keep it in the refrigerator. Now, one thing I am going to do is I am going to take a pH stick, and I'm going to test the acidity level of this. And the reason I want to do that is I want to make sure that if it needs refrigeration, then we give it refrigeration, all right? Because you have to be at least 4 and not more acidic on the scale before you can leave it out. So I'll check that as soon as we get it canned here. Now, I say canned when I put it in this. I'm not boiling this in water to completely sterilize it. No, I'm just putting it in here so we can go ahead and we can stick it in the refrigerator, and I'm going to probably use it next week on my chicken. So let me go over to the stove and let me go ahead and grab the sauce. Delicious. It has heat. It has heat from the red pepper flakes. It has sweetness from the watermelon. It has a little twang from the vinegar and the ketchup in there. And it also has just a little bit of the smokiness from the liquid smoke. So this is a goodie. This is a winner. You could take and you could serve this, with about anything. If you're going to use it for a more heavy meal, such as beef, or you're going to make pork burnt-ends or something like that, you might want to go ahead and use the hickory or the mesquite liquid smoke in here. But for chicken, and you could use this on anything, it's delicious. Okay, here we are. We've gone ahead and we've made our barbecue sauce. Now remember, as this cools down, and I'm gonna leave this open because I don't want the cap to pop down and people actually think that this was sterilized, because it isn't. So give me just a minute here. I'm gonna get my pH strips and we're gonna give it a quick test. Okay, let's go ahead and take this off. I'm just using one of these little pH strips on here. I'm going to go ahead and dip it down in here. And now I compare it to the chart on the side. It's a little past 4. I'd say it's probably 3.7 or 3.8. So actually, this could be kept. It could be kept on a countertop, but you know, I'd still go ahead and I'd still put it in the refrigerator if possible. So, anyway, here we go. We have a nice barbecue sauce that we can use for anything. I'll be using it in future episodes of this. So, in the meantime, give this a try. I think you'll really, really like it. And thanks again for watching. Take care. God bless. Remember that cooking should always be fun. Go ahead, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe is even better. And I'll see you next episode. Bye for now.